When you think about the failed policies of cannabis prohibition, what are some of the first things that come to your mind?
So the motivation I had to get involved in this issue was looking at the statistics in New York State from about the last decade of who was getting dragged into the criminal justice system for the use of small quantities of cannabis. And it was horrifying to me because it was so radically skewed to young people who were Black and brown being arrested for cannabis smoking, being moved through the criminal justice system, even if they never went to jail on these issues. They ended up with records. They ended up being exposed to police precinct houses, arraignment courts, the court system. They discovered that for things as small as 2 marijuana cigarettes, they could end up not being eligible to apply for certain college grants and loans, not being eligible to live with their families in federally funded housing, not being able to take civil service tests for some of the really good paying jobs that should have been available for their future. And we're talking 90% of the people being arrested being Black and brown, and 10% being white or Asian. And I know for a fact, because I was a white teenager many years ago, that as long as I've been around, and that's a while now, young people of whatever their color was or ethnic identity, I'm a white Jewish woman, were using marijuana. And I looked up the data, and we've been using it at approximately the same rates as everybody else all these years. And yet, for all these years, we've only dragged Black and brown kids through the criminal justice system. And it was just fundamentally wrong. It was the epitome of how we allowed racism to sneak into our criminal justice system and then literally explode certain corners of it. And so my commitment to try to change the drug laws, and specifically cannabis law in New York State, came out of the goal of saying this prohibition has not stopped anyone from using marijuana. The whole concept that we are spending about $500 million a year in New York State to bust people for low-level marijuana usage was doing nothing to stop people from using marijuana. It was just ruining lives and taking away police time and DA time and court time from actually going after actual bad guys. Because if you spend all your time picking up kids on marijuana busts, you're not out there trying to track down the actual criminals. So we were using our criminal justice system in completely the wrong way. It was doing harm, not good. Prohibition had always been a failure. We knew that when we put liquor back on our shelves after liquor prohibition. We know, and maybe we didn't know 50 years ago, but we know now that marijuana has less health effects on us than alcohol or tobacco, two products that I don't think there's any state in the country that's outlawed them, and I'm pretty sure we all tax and regulate them. And yet we were approaching cannabis the same way we would be approaching heroin or fentanyl, which is killing people in our communities and, are worthy of other discussions. But I just said, no, this is ridiculous.